Welcome to the Dowsers teleconference. Today is the 19th of April, 2021. These talks are scheduled for the third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and last for about an hour. I'm G from Northern California Dowsers in Redding, California. Jeanette and I will be joining your host, Sherry Hope, for tonight's program featuring part 2 of Roxanne Louise's talk on how to have a successful dowsing experience. This will be recorded and edited by Susan Spooler of Boston Dowsers and available at ASD's website under the Members Only section. I'm now turning the program over to Sherry Hope.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dowsers teleconference. And of course, it used to be known as the Water Dowsers teleconference, and we changed the name so we had a little more leeway. We could invite more dowsers. And the beginning of this year, we decided to have a series on how to have, how to begin dowsing, how to have a better or a successful dowsing experience. And so tonight, this is brought to you by the Boston Dowsers and the Gold Country Dowsers of Northern California, and also the NorCal Dowsers up in Redding, California, with Jeanette and G. And so we're so thankful that we have all these volunteers to help with these teleconferences, and we have over 3 years worth of teleconferences available on the ASD website. So they're all recorded, and you can access the recordings in the member section. So if you're not a member of ASD, this is a great time to begin and become a member. Along with, we've got a big conference coming up too. So right now, I want to introduce Susan Spooler of the Boston Dowsers, who's going to talk about the Flagstaff conference.
Flagstaff conference is going to be October 6th to the 13th. The website is dowserssouthwest.com. We'll be releasing a brand new, very exciting website that we've been working on. And we have over 50 speakers. And we'll have advanced dowsing, beginner dowsing, anyways. And we'll be having a lot of interesting surprises coming up and field trips out there in Flagstaff and Sedona and Grand Canyon. And we look forward to seeing everybody out there. So www.dowserssouthwest.com. Look forward to seeing you out there. And Roxanne Louise will be a speaker. Margaret Manlan Martin and Sherry Hope will be helping with the beginner dowsing school. So and Jeanette will be helping with the youth program. We have some exciting things for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, and thank for all your help in putting on this broadcast. So now, Jeanette, if you could come on and talk about the ORI or any other announcements that you have. Jeanette?
Yes, I'd like to mention the ORI, Ozark Research Institute. The conference is going on right now until the end of May at your leisure. It's for free. There's intermittent 20-minute talks. You can choose your favorite speakers. Susan Spooler's there teaching dowsing. You have Alan Handelsman, Joey Korn, Susan Collins, and Gladys McCoy. Even the late Harold McCoy's in some of that video footage. So please visit www.ozarkresearch.org. And also tomorrow night, ASD, American Society of Dowsers, if you log into your members only page, you will be able to listen in to Gail West, Money Come Dance With Me. Learn how to work with money trauma if you have any, and if you don't, well, let's increase it if you so choose, if that's important to you. And looking forward to the keep in mind ASD, their 61st Dowsing Convention Metaphysical Expo is June 9th through the 13th. And of course, we're always looking forward to increasing the awareness with our Dowser chapters and conferences to help everyone. Thank you so much, Sherry, for the announcements. Appreciate all of your great work.
And Gladys McCoy, who's the director and co-founder of Ozark Research Institute, will be our keynote speaker out in Flagstaff.
Great, fantastic. Thank you, Jeanette, and thank you, Susan. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have psychic medium Margaret Van Land Martin, who is going to present her card for the month. And we've started this earlier this year. And Margaret's website is Age of Aquarius Chico.com. Now, Margaret is, she's a well-known psychic in Northern California and has presented several times at the NorCal Dowsers, several talks there. And I've known Margaret for over 20 years, and I am very impressed with her classes and her work and her psychic abilities. So I invite you to check out her website and see if anything appeals to you. She does have various classes. And I think she's got some going on now or coming up soon, and she'll let you know about that after she talks about the card for the month. So Margaret, we're anxious to see what card you've drawn this month.
Not as anxious as me, Sharon. It was like, oh no. So I want to start out by sharing that we still have the energy of the Seven of Cups. So from today all the way through the end of April, we are enjoying the energy of the Seven of Cups, which is thought and affection, wishful thinking, daydreams and whims, and illusionary success. And what's going to be interesting about this is we're going to look back on this time and wish we were having this. It feels like a breathing space, a hiatus that we're having. And then we are going to move into the energy of all of May, which is going to be the 10 of batons reversed. So May 1st through the 31st, this is the energy that is coming up. This energy is obstacle, hypocrisy, difficulties, intrigues, treachery, and separation. So what's happening is with so many different belief systems that are all running all at the same time, and no one is willing to listen or hear someone who has a different belief system. It leaves all of us feeling thoughts that we aren't able to trust other people, and that includes family members and friends. And so this energy then separates us because of different ideals and beliefs. This separation causes difficulties and intrigues and separates us then even further. So I want to point out that it doesn't matter where you are, which side of the coin you are on the ideals and beliefs, because each side of the coin points their finger at the other side and says they are wrong. So it's hypocritical to point your finger at others for something that you're doing too. So instead of spending all of our energy telling the other people they're wrong, my suggestion would be that we work on our own whatever is fun for us. We could actually do things that we enjoy. We could color, we could douse, we could sing, we could dance, we can do anything that's psychic instead of spending our time thinking that the other half of the world is wrong. So it's your choice. Spend your month being upset because the other half of the world is wrong, or spend your month doing things that makes your life better, like improving your dowsing skills. And again, remember, we still have wonderful, good energy. Please enjoy it for the next until April 30th. And obviously it doesn't stop and start exactly at the end of the month, but just know that it's the energy that we're feeling the most of in April, being thought and affection and wishful and daydreams. And we're going to be moving into this harder energy, but we don't have to let it control us. I happen to believe in self-care and doing fun things. So I hope you join me in that. And I'll see you next month for June.
Thank you very much, Margaret. We really enjoy having you draw a card for the month, and it's very interesting about what comes up. And certainly that applies to me, what you were just talking about.
Thank you, Sharon. It's interesting, isn't it, as we feel the energy, and it's great to feel the energy, but we don't need to let it run us.
Yes. Thank you so much. You really contribute a lot to our program here on the teleconference. Okay, next we have Roxanne Louise. Now, Roxanne is going to talk about the infinite intelligence process. Now, I'm really anxious to learn more about this. Roxanne is a well-known speaker for the Dowsers and for hypnotherapy conventions, as I understand. Because she's a nationally honored hypnotherapist, Dowser, Reiki master. She's also the author of 10 different books, which you can check out on her website. And you can see that there on the screen, roxannelouise.com. She's a former president of the American Society of Dowsers. She's also a former board member. And she has conducted 47 educational teleconferences. She's received many other awards, and you can read about that in her bio, probably in the newsletter that you got. And on her website, she has much more information. So we invite you to check that out after the program today. Okay, Roxanne, so we're excited to learn about this new program here and how it can help us. So go ahead and start.
I don't see Roxanne on here. Joe, I don't see her on the screen, and I'm just trying to call her.
No, I'm on now.
Oh, you are? Oh. Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm on.
Welcome, Roxanne.
Thank you for having me. Today we're talking about the infinite intelligence process, which is a modality I put together from many different components over the years. And I have written a book called Accessing More, which is tapping into the eternal, unlimited self. And I want to just start with where all of this began. When I was 4 years old, my mother overheard me telling a playmate, "You're master of yourself." And many of us as children or even your own children have exhibited knowledge that was beyond their years that they came in with. And so I came in with the awareness that you were a master yourself, but then the question was, how do you put that knowledge into practical application in the real world? And that is the challenge. So I have also had many experiences where I was able to tap into knowledge, not knowing where it came from. I'll give you an example. One morning I was woken up by some noise in my master bath. And when I went into the bathroom, I saw my 5 cats surrounding a copperhead snake. He had gotten into the bathroom by getting into the crawl space and pushing the vent off the floor and then in the room. And his head was twisting around and around. He didn't know if he had which way to protect himself. And so without an understanding where this information came, I instinctually dropped a towel over his head, closed the vent, got all the cats out of the way, ran and got a box with a lid and a broom. And as I came back, I shoved the box up to where the towel was, had the broom behind, whipped the towel off, shoved him into the box, closed the lid, and got him out of the house. So that's an example of how in the moment you can tap into information that you never knew you had, never had an experience like that before. Where did it come from? And there are many stories of, for example, a woman who's able to lift a car off her loved one that was pinned underneath the wheel. There are so many examples of how people have tapped into resources that consciously they didn't know. And dowsing all works with the understanding that we're tapping into a consciousness field in which all information is stored, whether that consciousness is that of the water or of nature, of people living or dead. We can tap into that information. And so what is this more that we're tapping into? Would you turn to the next screen, please, Susan? Okay, so I'm going to say that you're smarter and infinitely more resourceful than you think you are. And you can use this process to harness inner resources, innate wisdom, and healing power. You can use it for physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual healing, for creative problem solving, for manifesting, goal achievement, to reduce overwhelm and improving sleep, enhancing creativity and healthy self-esteem, clear mental and emotional blocks, heal guilt and shame and the need for self-punishment. You can integrate it with the emotional freedom technique, Ho'oponopono, and other modalities. You can clear non-beneficial energies, and it's a fantastic self-help tool as well as a professional therapeutic tool. You can use it as a meditation. So when you say, there's a part of me that knows how I can best use my time, energy, and resources, and that part is assisting me now. When you say there's a part of me that knows, you are instantly tapping into that storehouse of knowledge, whether it's a part of your unconscious mind, part of it, whether it's part of your soul, or the whole universal consciousness system. So it is a great tool that's so easily available to you. Susan, would you turn the slide, please? Now, what is this more that you can access? Well, it includes your unconscious mind. Now, your unconscious mind regulates all your body functions, your automatic behavior, your physical, mental, and emotional habits. your directives, injunctions, beliefs, judgments, memory. It's also your high self, or what you could call your soul. It's the collective intelligence, wisdom, experience, knowledge gained from all humanity. It's the greater spiritual dimension. It's the greater consciousness system that houses all knowledge, wisdom, creativity of all that is and ever has been, ever will be. Can we turn the slide? There are underlying premises. And one is that you are a powerful spiritual being with great resources of intelligence, wisdom, abilities already within you. And your intelligence, wisdom, and abilities go beyond the limits of your body, goes beyond time, and it goes beyond space. Your inner being is forever linked to greater intelligence and resources, even to the ultimate consciousness. Your inner being, assisted by your subconscious mind, wants to assist you solve problems and will set to work once it knows what you want and has clear directives. And you have the right to ask for whatever you want and need, and it's yours to claim. Now, here's another, many of these things are underlying premises of dowsing in general. So but here's another thing. The origin of the problem that you probably want to solve is unknown, or probably unknown, or not completely known. And by working with unconscious healing modality, you can hold the intention to go to the root cause, to review all the factors, to find the positive learning, releasing any further need for that problem, to come up with a creative, more constructive solution. And you don't have to know all the particulars. You can have the intention of set the outline of what you want to happen and use the pendulum as a readout device to indicate what it's working on, how long it's working, and when we're ready to move on to the next segment. Okay, next page, please. So you can address all these unconscious elements of the problem through intention and clear direction. This is exactly like dowsing. Healing always requires a willingness to change. All power is in the present, including the power to heal the past, present, and future. Now, I want to say something about healing the past. One way you can heal the past is to change your judgment about what happened. Because the moment you change your judgment about what happened, for example, you can switch from this is awful to, wow, that was interesting. So the change in judgment has everything to do with a change in emotional effect. And a change in emotional effect will affect your behavior. And so by going into the past and changing your judgment or interpretation of what happened, you change the emotional outcome, and that in turn changes your present behavior. And that goes forward into the future. So you can use your past as raw material, as compost even, to have a very different effect. There's more that I can say about how you can heal the past. So for example, let's say you asked to locate the root cause of an issue or problem, and you switch to a healthier, you then ask to identify the negative belief or judgment made about that event, and then you ask to switch to a healthier, more constructive interpretation, and then you bring that forward in time, that improved belief, and that carries not just for the original event, but carries you all the way through into the future. And you can share that knowledge all the way through your time. Energy that's bound up in upsetting emotions is not available for other purposes. Particularly as is true with healing. It takes a great deal of energy to heal. And So you want, the more that you can release stuck energies, and a major part of stuck energies are your irritations, your resentment, your anger, your fear, and all that stuff. That is tremendous amount of stuck energy. Now, emotions always alert you to how you have interpreted what is going on or what happened. So what it means to you. And those interpretations not only can be wrong, but they can also be changed. So upset can be transformed into a blessing if you choose to use it to take prompt action to heal the root cause of that upset. So I'm going to suggest that if you do have an upset or a thought comes up about an old one, you jot it down immediately what it is, and at your first opportunity, do something to heal the root cause of that problem. You're never upset for the first time. You're upset because it's a repeat performance of things that have bothered you in the past. Now, any emotional reaction that seems to be excessive to an actual current event always points to previous unhealed events. Next slide, please. So we're going to go through the basic components of the infinite intelligence process, but I want to also say that it's helpful if you adopt a what if attitude. So a what if attitude can go something like this. What if I did have the resources to deal with this problem? What if I do have the resources already to handle it? What if I could achieve this goal? What if I can take action right now to go after what I want? What if I could resolve this issue, condition, relationship, or upset? What if I can resolve this now? So the what if attitude is helpful. Another helpful attitude in this is a type of skepticism about to realize, like what Tom Campbell of My Big Toe, My Theory of Everything, is what we think is reality is only a model. And so our reality is in large part our viewpoint, our interpretation of what's out there. Now, the if you had a question in your mind, like what if a part of me really does know the answers to this problem? What if a part of me already knows something I can do that's going to make a significant difference in this? Now, last month I spoke, and part of having getting better and better at dowsing is working on your own issues at the same time, because your issues will attract resonating energies. So if you're angry and you don't deal with that anger or resentment or blame or victimhood or whatever, you will attract entities, energies, people that resonate with that, or just make you feel justified in having those emotions. And this just makes life more difficult, and it also makes dowsing more difficult. Dowsing, you want to be able to connect to the greater consciousness. Some people call that God, some have a source, other names. And the clearer you are of all your crap, the easier it is to connect to source. So I mentioned that all healing requires a willingness to change. And a willingness to change means that you are going to be committed to deal with your own issues. And that needs to be done on a regular basis. And so it's not just what is going on right now, but when you are relaxed, lots of prior events of irritations or upsets, you'll be triggered. Something will happen that will trigger you to remember something that was unpleasant. And as I said, write it down, because these moments come up frequently when you don't have the time. For me, they come up when I'm in the middle of the night. I'm kind of half awake and these thoughts go floating through. Okay, so last time I think I also mentioned that when you are all dowsing should start with building your strength, with grounding, centering, and connecting to source. Get your energy level up. Now, this infinite intelligence system is what we call part of unconscious healing. And just as your body operates below your conscious awareness to grow your hair and your fingernails and digest your food and keep your heart rate and your breathing going, your unconscious mind is capable of handling also processing of emotions and other events. It can look for the wisdom and extract the positive learning. So I believe every experience has something of value to teach you. And so why not? My belief is if you don't learn, the universe comes back with stronger and stronger blocks of wood to hit over your head, starting with maybe a little tap on the head and then stronger and stronger until we get up to the 2x4s. So the faster you can learn, the faster you can get out of pain and irritation and upset. So as a hypnotherapist, one of the things I learned was unconscious healing. So I would have a pattern. I'm just looking for it now. Here's the pattern I used in hypnosis starting at least 28 years ago. I've been a hypnotherapist for 30. So with every client, I say this. There's a part of you that's very wise and resourceful, knows everything about you and why you are the way you are and what to do about it. And that part is now reviewing everything to do with that problem you came here to solve today and I have a blank, to clarify what needs to be clarified, release what needs to be released, heal what needs to be healed, and resolve what needs to be resolved in a way in which you are really pleased. It finds the positive learning and releases any upset, limiting belief, or judgment, and lets go of any reason or need to have that problem of blank. It knows that it is important for you to experience blank instead and is doing whatever needs to be done so that your new experience is blank. That's right, it reviews everything to do with that problem of blank, starting with the root cause and all contributing causes to do whatever needs to be done in a way in which you are really pleased so that your new experience is blank. And even as I speak, your unconscious mind is reviewing everything to do with that problem to resolve it in a way in which you're really pleased. And I go on and on with the pattern. Now, so I was two of my mentors that helped me with unconscious healing modality to resolve the issue and just use the idiomotor response of the finger. So in hypnosis, instead of a pendulum, although some hypnotists also use a pendulum, we call it Chevreul's pendulum. You'll establish when the answer is yes, you'll lift one finger. When the answer is no, you'll lift another one. Some people have don't want to answer. So you can suggest in hypnosis that the particular finger will move for the answer instead of having show me yes, show me no, show me maybe, show me somewhat, show me working mode, show me putting in positive energy. So just as the pendulum can have a code, you can establish a code with your finger, and actually you can set it up, finger responses, to use as a dowser. So even as you can use a stick plate. So there's many ways of getting ideomotor response besides pendulums and bobbers, etc. So 2 of these mentors were A.L. Ward of San Bernardino, which I'm happy to know is still alive. And I spoke to him a couple months ago. And also Art Winkler, who is unfortunately not alive, and they've passed on. So going back to the four components, the first part starts with that wording. There's a part of me that knows, and that part is. Now, I've been teaching professional hypnotherapy for many years. I'm not doing it right now. I teach only at professional hypnosis conferences as well as dowsing conferences, sometimes 9 or 10 a year, or at least that's what it was until COVID. And so I had taught a lot of people. This was mostly in New Jersey that I was situated in. And so I trained a whole lot of people in hypnosis and dowsing and Reiki and other things. And one of the people also in New Jersey, Sandy Radomski, and she has a partner, Tom Lefgetter, I can't pronounce his name, came up with another system of healing. And I'll find it. And Sandy uses the phrase, there's a part of me that knows. But she doesn't go on to say, it's ask and receive. Her wording is, there's a part of me that knows blank, and that part of my being is willing to inform the rest of me now. It is doing so with grace and ease. My mind, body, spirit are receiving that information. Information transfer is now complete. So I can applaud Sandy for having people become aware that they can tap into greater information and ask that part to give them information. But it's not enough to have information, because anyone that you know that has gone to a psychiatrist, for example, may come back with great insight of why they are screwed up, but they're still screwed up. So you have to do something with the information you have. Just like you can douse where to put the well, but it does you no good if you don't dig the well. So you have to do something with the information you receive in dowsing or in meditation or any other kind of insight or counseling or whatever. You have to do something. So you want to say, there's a part of me that knows, and that part is, it's healing, it's clearing, it's resolving, it's removing, it's transforming, it's implementing. You want to finish the sentence. There's a part of me that knows blank and how to implement that knowledge by blank. It's doing so now. Now, the one thing I will say with Sandy is that she uses also a phrase with grace and ease. Love that. Now, this also was spoken of by Tali Burkan. Tali Burkan was a firewalk instructor who trained my primary hypnosis mentor, George Bien. And I assisted George Bien at his firewalks in Long Island for a year. And Tali Burkan wrote a book called Let It Be Easy. So there's a part of me that knows how to take care of the situation with grace and ease. There's a part of me that knows how I can make this cleaning out the garage fun. It is now guiding me now. So you can add that in. So there's a part of me that knows. Now, the second component of the infinite intelligence process, I call process. And in dowsing as well as hypnosis, we create programs. So Don Taylor had a book. I can't put my hand on it fast enough for you, but Tom Taylor had a book on esoteric tuning. And in this book, he has a lot of different programs. One is clear entities, and another is provide protection. So you can write out a dowsing program and have it run with trigger word, a shorthand code word. So I've written this out. I was reminded by Be Set Free, fellow whose name also is out of my mind for a moment. So the fellow who did Be Set Free has one, and it reminded me, well, why not set one up for stress management? And so I have, and we're going to install it tonight. So you can write down any kind of program and have it run with trigger words. And mine what goes from the perspective of my high self, process and resolve everything to do with blank in a way in which I can blank go. So the two trigger words are process, go. They don't have to be together, but they have to be in the sentence. Process, blank, go. Or I can say process and resolve everything to do with blank from the perspective of my high self, go. So that's the second part. And those two, connect and process, are the most important things. Now, command is that you are claiming your authority as a creator and what you want to go on in your life. You have sovereignty over your own body and your own life. And so you can have the right to command what goes on there. And so it's commanded that, or I command that. Or you can, without saying the word command, you can say something very forcibly. I release all blocks, known or unknown, to my full healing now. That's a command. And then you can say what you want to happen. From now on, my reality is, or from now on, I. And finally, it's good to give thanks and imagine that the whole process is complete. So let's go through some examples. On command. It's commanded to find the root cause and all contributing causes to that problem of blank in order to resolve it in a way in which I'm really pleased. I command that the root cause and all contributing causes to the problem of be found and resolved in a way in which I'm really pleased. Find the root cause and all contributing causes to the problem of blank and resolve it in a way in which I'm really pleased. From now on, my new experiences. Okay, so you can also integrate all of these things. So for example, remove any blocks, known or unknown, to my, well, let's say health. I release all blocks, known or unknown, to my full healing now. Any need to release any or experience any health problems to be hereby resolved, healed, and removed. I now choose to experience vibrant, good health. Instead, in accordance with my highest good, I choose to believe that I'm worthy and deserving of experiencing vitality and good health, and I give myself permission to do so, and I'm grateful. Thank you. So here's another example. I hereby command that any and all blocks, known or unknown, to my full healing now be permanently and completely removed. Any need or reason to experience any further problems with my joints are to be resolved and eliminated. I now choose to experience ease, comfort, and flexibility in all my movements. I can see it, feel it, and know it to be true in consciousness, and I'm grateful. Thank you. And it's done. So now, while I'm saying any of this, I am holding a pendulum and I'm waiting while it's working. I'm using the pendulum to indicate that something is happening and to calibrate how much time it needs before I go on to the next. So another way of saying this is, there's a part of me that knows the origin and contributing issues behind any difficulty with blank. And that part is reviewing everything to do with that issue to clarify, resolve, clear, and heal it in a way in which I'm really pleased. And you wait. If there's any need or reason to experience any problems with blank, that part of me that knows is finding a healthier, constructive way to achieve my higher goals so that I now experience blank. It is now working to do everything necessary to resolve that issue of blank and continues to do so until that process is complete. So that's a way to work with the wording of connect. And so let me give you some more examples. It's commanded to remove any blocks known or unknown to creating order and harmony in my home. There's a part of me that knows the origin and contributing issues behind the clutter and chaos. And that part is reviewing everything to do with that issue of hoarding to clarify, resolve, clear, and heal that issue in a way in which I'm really pleased. If there's any need or reason to experience chaos and clutter in my home, that part of me that knows is finding a healthier, more constructive way to achieve my higher goals so that I move forward to enjoy order, harmony, and ease. It is now working to do everything necessary to resolve that issue and continues until that process is complete. Process everything to do with the issue of clutter and chaos from the perspective of my high self so that I now experience order, harmony, and ease instead. Go. I give thanks to that power within me that loves me completely and is always ready to assist me to create order, harmony, and ease. So there's, as I said, there's different ways you can say this. Now, you can use the infinite intelligence process as part of your daily practice. And one thing is to, in the morning, I say there's a part of me that knows the best use of my time, energy, and resources. And that part is guiding me to make the wisest choices today so that I accomplish the most important things with grace and ease. Or you can say there's a part of me that knows how I can best accomplish blank today, and that part is assisting me to do with grace and ease. Now, at the end of the day, it's important to declutter your mind of all the excess, the overwhelming stimuli that all of us are subject to, so that you can sleep. So if you don't get rid of it before you sleep, you'll find yourself waking up with things, your mind will, you'll be spending a lot of energy when you should be sleeping, processing everything that happened during the day. So before bed, you can say, from the perspective of my high self, process all the events of the day and anything I read, heard, thought, or witnessed, as well as any of the issues that came up today. Find the positive learning, the blessing or wisdom to be gained, and to let go of the rest so that I sleep peacefully through the night and wake up tomorrow refreshed and ready to start anew. Go. Here's another way to say it. Process all the news that I read, heard, or discussed from the perspective of my high self. Eliminate all distortions and everything that is untrue, unlikely to happen, or unhelpful. Keep only what is true and helpful and put in the proper perspective so that I utilize my energies and resources productively and appropriately. Go. Here's another one. From the perspective, well, why don't we do this? Pick up a pendulum. No, I'm sorry. We have to install it first. So I'll have to go ahead and install. But I'll read it first. From the perspective of my high self, process all the fear and uncertainty about the future promoted by the media, various internet sites, friends, or associates, so that I can have a good night's sleep. Go. Or a simplified version is process all of today's events, thoughts, emotions, experienced from the perspective of my high self. So next slide, please. Okay. So with Connect, you can get, there are some other things you can add in here. Now, because I'm a hypnotherapist and I've had a lot of experience on working on unconscious healing modalities, I don't necessarily go through all these things, but you can do use them to be comprehensive. So it starts again, as you know, there's a part of me that knows, and then you can say, is that true? So why don't you pick something right now that that where you're going to say there's a part of me that knows the root cause and all contributing causes too. Just pick a problem or an issue or a habit. Take a moment to, one, pick up your pendulum and think of a problem, issue, or habit. And once you have it, let's take a moment to ground. So breathe energy up through your feet. Pull that energy as you inhale, pull that energy up on the inhalation, up through your feet, up through your legs, pull it all the way up to your head. And as you exhale, allow that any stress or tension to go out and down your feet. And as you inhale, again, pull nurturing, healing energy, revitalizing energy up from the earth, pull it all the way up. And as you exhale, just let any tension to go out on the exhalation and out your feet. And do a few rounds of that until you start feeling tingling in your feet and your legs. And then allow any of the mental chatter to condense and bring your mind into central focus, that that it's your intention to just focus on the words that we're going to be doing. And at the top of your head, connect to what you think is your consciousness system, your dowsing system, the source of unconditional love, wisdom, the source that loves you completely and tells you the truth. And so with your pendulum in your hand and the idea of the issue that you want to focus on, say there's a part of me that knows the root cause and all contributing causes to this problem, issue, or habit of. Is that true? And see if you get a yes. And then you can say, review everything to do with that issue or problem and indicate with the pendulum when that review is complete. Now ask, is that part now ready, willing, and able to start to address that issue, to heal or clear or resolve it now? And see if you get a yes. Then say, take action with the pendulum and let me know when that is done. So then just wait for the pendulum to start moving when it's done. Did someone have a question or a comment? I heard there's some noise on the computer. So there's some talking on the background. I don't know what that is.
I'm shutting them down.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, next slide. Okay. And next slide, please. Good, okay. So now we're going to install the process program where the keywords are going to be process and go. And once we once that program is installed, then you'll be able to use it. So, but first, why don't you ask, is it okay with my unconscious mind to install the process program? Yes or no? And so, as you're reading off the slide or listening to my words, holding the pendulum, we're going to install this program. So I'll read it and you can follow along. And in fact, what I'd like you to do is repeat it after me. So I will pause in between each phrase, repeat it either silently or out loud. So here we go. Whenever I think or speak my cue word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind instantly reviews everything relevant to whatever I focus upon from the perspective of my own inner wisdom. It locates and addresses the root cause and all contributing causes that created or sustained any targeted issue or problem. It processes all relevant unresolved emotions and releases any upset. It finds the positive learning and saves it as part of my wisdom. It lets go of any limiting beliefs or judgments that contribute to or control that issue or problem. It clarifies what needs to be clarified. It heals what needs to be healed and releases what needs to be released. It corrects any mistakes in understanding or judgment. It resolves any karma. It removes any secondary gain or other blocks to a satisfactory resolution. As a result, I am free to move forward in my life, freer, wiser, more experienced, and more capable than before. Each and every time I think or say the word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind, under the direction of my high self, does all the above instantly for any problem that I choose to address, anytime, anywhere. It does whatever needs to be done in a way in which I'm really pleased, turning every situation into a positive growth experience. Is this now accepted by my unconscious mind? See if you get a yes or no. Now, by the way, I can send you an 8-page handout of this whole procedure if you send me an email to Roxanne@roxannelouise.com. Roxanne with 2 N's and an E, roxannelouise.com. So you will get the PDF. So let's try this. So holding the pendulum, let's do this. Process and resolve all negative evaluations of myself and all negative evaluations of myself by others I've agreed with in terms of my self-confidence, aptitudes, skills, abilities, talents, characteristics, or personal traits. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve all false or limiting beliefs about my true spiritual nature and essence. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process any false or limiting beliefs about money. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve any belief, perception, or judgment that I'm not lovable. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve any belief, perception, or judgment that I'm not good enough. Go. Now, there's so many ways you can do this, and that's why there's an entire book on it. Let me see, it's 112 pages. You can process and resolve any belief that you're too old, too fat, too skinny, too young, too unqualified, too ugly, too tall, too short, that you're to accomplish something or to have the respect or the love or whatever you want. This is wonderful to deal with. Okay, let's do this. From the perspective of my high self, process any unjustified guilt I am carrying for anything from any point in time. Go. Now, think of, let's take a relationship. So pick one that is mildly irritating, not a major one. And so take a current irritation, right? From the perspective of my high self, process all the irritation I have with so-and-so regarding, and you finish the blank. Go. Find the positive, from the perspective of my high self, find the positive learning that can be extracted from that experience. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and identify the belief or judgment that is causing me stress around that situation. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and accept make a healthier constructive choice regarding that situation, regarding the interpretation of that situation. Go. Okay. So there's, I just find these two first elements, both connect and process, profoundly healing. I had a client, I've been working with a client recently that came in with extreme anger issues. He has anger to the extent that he's not permitted to go near his ex-wife. So there was a lot of reasons why he had the anger, justified reasons. And we were using this process, this infinite intelligence process, the Connect and the process program within it. And last time he was here, he said, Did the lights go on when you were talking? There were some bright lights, and I got all kinds of tingling. I had kind of like all over his body. And so what was happening is as I was going through the unjustified guilt and shame and blame and all that stuff that he was carrying, he was releasing so much of this, and he was actually he opened up the channel to his high self or the divine, and he came back and said how people are noticing a big shift in him. So this can be profoundly healing. Okay, and you can do this on big spiritual issues. So, for example, from the perspective of my high self processing, resolve everything around me, knowing or remembering consciously who I am, where I came from, and what I'm doing here on planet Earth. Go. So again, if you want to, you can pick up your pendulum and say, from the perspective of my high self, process and resolve anything interfering with me taking positive action to defeat the forces of evil, including the evil within myself. Go. Process, from the perspective of my high self, process anything interfering with me, knowing how I can lessen the negative forces that are affecting the planet and how I can apply that knowing in effective ways. Go. So you can use this for all kinds of spiritual things at the same time. So the now this is good also for, okay, so let's take it for healing, and then we'll go into clearing guilt and shame, and then we'll probably go to questions. So using your pendulum again, there's a part of my being that knows how to tap into the spiritual centers of healing and rejuvenation, and is doing so now. There's a part of my being that knows the root cause and all relevant contributors to any problem of, and then say what it is about your body or your health. And that part is reviewing everything related to it to heal it in a way in which I'm really pleased. Process anything related to this health issue in a way that I can rapidly heal. Go. There's a part of my being that knows how to my current physical body is deviating from the blueprint of what my healthy, vibrantly alive adult body is designed to be. And that part is now making any appropriate corrections so that my body speedily moves back into alignment with perfect health. All parts of my being are being rebalanced comfortably, and I am grateful. It is commanded to release any limiting beliefs, any non-beneficial emotions that interfere in any way with the healing taking place completely now. I choose to live in perfect health and vitality. Now, one of the things that is important for everyone to clear away is guilt and shame, because guilt and shame always call for punishment. And so we can use the infinite intelligence process to clear. So here's more, I'll give you two different wordings. Well, why don't you think about something for which you do have some guilt or shame. And let's do it. There's a part of that knows if I am carrying any guilt or shame for any wrong I may have done, real or imagined, in this lifetime or any other existence. And that part is reviewing everything about it to heal it in a way I can learn and move on without any further need to carry those feelings and without the need for punishment. Process everything around this issue of guilt and shame that I'm carrying from the perspective of my high self. Find the positive learning, resolve any negative karma, go. So it goes on, there's many other ways to do this. So Susan, would you see if there's another slide, please? Yeah, so this is the book, Accessing More. As I said, it's like 118 pages, something like that. Next slide. And here's my complete dowsing course. Next slide. Here's some laminated dowsing charts. Next slide. Some other books I've written. Releasing Anger Without Killing anyone. And next slide. And this is my bio. So let's take questions that someone might have, and I'll assist you to word things in a way that can work for you. Who has a question or a comment to make?
Unmute yourselves.
Does anyone have a question or a comment?
If you can't
I will
unmute
say that
yourself,
was
you
pretty
can.
powerful.
I'm sorry?
I just wanted to say that was pretty powerful energy, moving stuff around,
Mm,
using your processes. Thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else?
Okay,
All
if you have
right.
a question, you can either type it into the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Roxanne, my name's Frances. Thank you for that presentation. It was very interesting, and I'm feeling stuff around the top of my head. It's a bit like a headache, actually. Just asking in regard to the pendulum, would you use it in the yes or the clockwise fashion, or does it matter?
My working mode of when something's being done is counterclockwise. That's not true for everyone. People
Mhm.
can have a different code. But when it goes into counterclockwise motion, it's going through what I've asked it to do, unless I'm asking it to put it in a positive energy, in which case then it goes into clockwise.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? And I can't see the chat, so if Susan, you see any questions there, let me know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Would you fill the void with example shame with a more positive energy? If so, which one would you recommend?
Well, it depends what the situation is, what the shame is about. So, for example, shame over your body, like a big stomach, too big a tush. So that would be different to accepting. That would be accepting your body and thanking your body for serving you and being there. If sometimes a shame over behavior might start with forgiveness, but I would start with inappropriate shame, unjustified. That's the word. Unjustified guilt or unjustified shame. many times shame is something put upon us that is not real, not justified at all. We accept, we've been, I was going to use the word pulverized, but that beaten over the head, but that it's something is all our fault when it really isn't our fault. So you can release unjustified shame or guilt, and then you can extract the positive learning from justified. What could I have done differently? Because the moment you learn, there's no further need to hold on to it. The point is in learning. I mean, we don't hold shame for having, being incontinent because we were a baby. So we peed in our pants, we pooped in our pants. That's why we had diapers. We don't hold shame for that because we understand that it's a natural process of learning. Well, so is everything else in life a natural part of learning. So as you learn, there's no further need to hold the shame. We can ask for forgiveness. We can forgive ourselves and ask etherically on an unconscious level, or on an etheric level, communicate with who we feel we would like to apologize to, and accept ourselves anyway. So the emotional freedom technique says, even though and you say what is bad, then you end with, and I deeply love and accept myself. So this whole thing combines with the emotional freedom technique very well, and it combines with Ho'oponopono and many other modalities. So what would be the appropriate thing for what you're upset about within yourself? So first of all, I go back and I ask my unconscious mind to review everything to do with the situation, then to find the positive learning. I might ask to imagine running the new behavior multiple times. The key is 5 times. To run it in practice running and sharing. Then I ask to share all that information throughout all the time. That learning. Then I ask if it's okay then to release any trauma or upset that's related to it. And then I go on to the next thing. So if I have, let's say there's an issue, let's take the one of someone not being able to set boundaries and say no. You want to say, okay, is this from this life or before? If it's from, did it originate in this life or did it originate before? If it originated before, how many lifetimes? If it originated in this lifetime, how many experiences that you need to review or clear? So there may be many experiences where it's related, but you may only have to focus on clearing so many. So for each one, I'll review all the factors, I'll find the positive learning, I'll practice that positive learning, I'll share that positive learning, and I'll clear all trauma. Then I go to the next one, I do the same thing. So what's the positive opposite? As I said, it can be things like love, forgiveness, self-acceptance. So it's totally dependent on what you cleared. Any other questions? And don't forget to write me for the PDF, Roxanne@roxannelouise.com. Would someone like to know how I would word a situation that concerns you, how I would approach it? You can tell me what it is and let's do it. Going once.
Here we go. How much do we owe you for this session? Much love, Donna Lee.
Donna Lee, I want to be able to come and stay overnight at your house.
That's right.
And slip in that wonderful chair you have. Donna has a massage chair. It's wonderful.
You are welcome anytime. July 1st to the 5th, West Coast Conference next year.
Okay, well, I'm thinking of putting together a course on this to run, or shall I say, maybe monthly sessions to go through how to apply this process to specific things, whether it's health or money or relationships. And if people are interested, if people are not interested, then I can put it together. Anyway.
I think it would be helpful to people.
Yeah, I use this all the time, and I said something to Sherry today. When I wrote the book, I got an approval from Spirit. I had this. I perceived this old man with white beard and white hair, and he's very terse, not very reticent to say anything good to his proteges or pupils. I guess I'm his pupil. And but when I wrote this book, he said, "You're making progress."
There you go.
So I guess the book got an A. So anyway.
A phrase on making highest and best decisions quickly and with ease.
There's a part of me that knows how to make the highest and best decisions quickly and easy. And that part that knows is assisting me now to word it in a way that is powerful and effective. Yeah, someone was asking me today about making decisions. That, Jeanette, might work. You might also want to address, there's different components to making decisions. One is the fear of making a wrong decision, which means that fear of making a wrong decision can be from times when we did make a wrong decision. And so or we've been punished for making a wrong decision. So if there have been instances, you can ask. So go ahead and ask. Am I afraid of making a wrong decision? Yes or no? Is there trauma involved in the past from having made a wrong decision, whether it's in this life or before? And if you get a yes, how many different situations? Was I punished? Was the punishment, severe? So there may be good reasons why a person is afraid to make a decision. People won't like me, I'll be punished, it'll be disastrous, I'll be homeless. So there's lots of reasons. And the same thing about, I'm trusting our dowsing. Going back to the decision making, that you can also, there's a part of me that knows how to quickly get all the information I need to make a wise decision regarding, and then you say what it is. So I wouldn't leave it, Jeanette, with just decisions in general. I would say specify the kind of decision you need to make. So my client yesterday needs to make a decision whether to buy a particular property and then build a house on it. So that involves not only the location, the advisability for him staying in that area, the basic neighborhood, as well as the greater location for the long term. It involves, because it's on a river, whether it's that river is floodplain, it involves building costs that are rapidly rising, and will he have the money to make it? So there's a lot of different factors in making a particular decision. So I wouldn't state, you can have a general work in general for decision making and get rid of fear of making a wrong decision, because we always do make some wrong decisions. That's how we learn. But then have another on specific decisions you need to make. Now, in trusting your dowsing, there's again a lot of factors involved, and the one part is being willing to know the truth. So frequently when we douse, we have emotional attachment, and the wanted to be willing to hear the truth or know the truth, even when it's not what we want to know. Like, how is the month of May going to turn out for us? And I'm experiencing all those things right now that she mentioned. So I guess I got an advance of the March May program. The so second guessing, being clearing away obstacles to source. So I would look at, okay, what are the things that have affected your accuracy in the past, and then go through that. I would look at, okay, there's a part of me that can identify what it allows me to be in the best possible place for dowsing, and that part is making that knowledge viscerally apparent to me now. Now, when I'm saying that, Sherry, what I'm saying is you get a feeling in your body when something is right, and you know it's right before you can be verified that it's right. It might be a glow in your chest. It might be an inner feeling of absolute, like a pillar of strength that comes through your body. There's something that you've had in the past when you knew something was right ahead of time. You want to remember, you want to identify and remember that visceral knowing. And then also to identify when something was off, when it wasn't quite right, and identify that as well. I think having a chart that could, and use a percentage chart and ask questions like, do I have all the information to tell people how to proceed with this well I'm doing? Do I have all the information? Is there anything I forgot? Is there anything I left off? Do I have all the information now to, and what the topic is, whether it's to do the well or something else? I would also ask if you have any unjustified reasons for self-doubt. So there's different factors involved. Well, I thank you all for the time that I can share this program with you. I can tell you, if you go through and learn it, it is amazingly helpful. When I work on processing things, I can feel all this energy going around. It shifts and changes. It's like new neural pathways being made or unmade. And it has made a huge difference to my own growth and healing. So I recommend it. So turning it back over to Susan and Sherry and
Donna Lee says, thank you. In a second. Thank you for this wonderful experience. Eric, England, thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Roxanne. I appreciate the talk you did today. And so there's a lot of things that resonated with me, and thanks for going over that. Actually, I knew that before. There's a part of me that knows, and you refreshed my memory on that one, and that's really important, especially for newcomers to dowsing. We need to support them, and you need all the help you can get to know that you can trust your dowsing. And when you get confirmation and you get results, that's a great combination to trust your dowsing. So thank you so much. And remember, everybody, that you can get the 8-page handout from Roxanne at roxannelouise.com. And is there any other information you wanted to share about, like your website or any classes or anything?
Sure. I'm going to be speaking in May. I think it's the 15th for the Appalachian Dowsers. Yeah, it's May 15th, and we're going to clarify the topic, but they were interested in dealing with detrimental energies. And one thing I know very well is that detrimental energies attach to things that are unresolved within yourself. And so that's one aspect that is not usually addressed by other people.
Okay, great. And people can get, I think, that information on dowsers.org. The Appalachian Dowsers are posted. Their information is posted on dowsers.org in the section that lists the different chapters.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be recorded.
okay, so it'll be recorded. Will it be available on in the members section, or is it just for the chapter?
I think it may just be for the chapter. But,
Okay.
But they have a website. I know the webmaster, so.
Yeah, they do. And I'm
Okay,
speaking
great.
June for the ASD, and of course I'm speaking for Flagstaff, which is great. Look forward to going there.
Yeah. So Sharon, what's next month? Who's the next speaker?
Next month, we will send out an email about that. And so, Jeanette, would you like to do a wrap up?
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much, Roxanne. Thanks, Susan, for being the producer of this, so everyone can learn and participate. We thank Margaret for picking our good cards for the month. Continue daydreaming, self-care, and doing fun things. And of course, next month, focus on yourself. And what you would like to accomplish. And we really just don't have time for focusing on others. We can focus on ourselves and increase our good vibrations. And we love Roxanne. We're grateful for Roxanne. She's given great contributions for many decades. And this video is going to be helpful for many others. We thank you for writing Accessing More. I have that book, and I've been enjoying it this last month since your last talk on therapeutic dowsing and telepathic healing, which I appreciate that book too. But I just want to review that Roxanne gave us tools. We have a book. She gave us tools. Even her 4-year-old self, she knew she was the master of herself, and she told that to her classmates. So we can tap into that whole universal consciousness system. Our unconscious mind knows everything. We just have to get to that origin of the original problem and working with our unconscious self to heal. We're going to the root cause, as Roxanne walked us through ways to do this. And of course, in the past, we don't want that judgment. If there is some trigger that's going on with us, we can change. Roxanne told us we don't have to be in that judgment state anymore. We can say, well, that's interesting, or we can just change that interpretation. And we appreciate that, Roxanne, because hopefully we're always getting better and healthier. And what about our attitude? We can reassess our attitude. If there's something that's irritating us, well, let's write it down and then see how our higher self can resolve it. As Roxanne says, well, when you get in that relaxed state, something might come up, write it down so you can deal with it and resolve it. And if we don't get that whisper or tap, then we might get a 2x4. And we can do this, whether it's cleaning the garage or clutter or you know, making that next big property purchase. We can do this with grace and ease, or whatever part that we need to work on.
You can sit down.
There's a part of us that knows the truth. Part of us understand that we need to connect. That's very important. We have to have that process. Roxanne gave us the tools, and we're going to command. The authority of us is ourselves, and we're going to say that with conviction. Roxanne told us go with the go, the process to go, and you're commanding that, and we're going to reset. We're all going to feel great, and we're going to give thanks, and we're going to keep that energy going and flowing. We're going to, if there's trauma from the past, we can go back to the past, change that trauma, and that from that moment on, instantaneously, we're changing that past to the now and to the future, and we can carry that on, because as soon as we help ourselves, we give permission for others to help themselves. And Roxanne, thank you so much. We love you, appreciate you. Thanks, Sherry, for putting this on, and Susan, you worked so hard behind the scenes. Thanks for producing this. And we'll see everyone on our next meeting in May, the third Monday of May. Sherry?
Thank you, Jeanette. You do a wonderful wrap up here. Any last comments, Roxanne?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Susan, for all
Thank
your tech support and everything that you do. And I'd
Yep,
like
thank you.
to comment on your article about water dowsing, and I thought that was wonderful. I
Oh, the
know
one
it
that got
wasn't
rejected by
in the
AFD.
print. Yeah, I know it wasn't in the printed digest, but it was really good. So
Thank you.
hopefully it will eventually
Well,
go in.
ORI is printing it, so that's okay.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. I'd hate to see all that hard work go to waste.
Take it
Do you
from
have
where
any?
it comes.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
I said, take it from where it comes, right?
So yes, and I just wondered if you had anything else to add, Susan, or any further announcements?
No, we'll be presenting the brand new website that we've been working on for the past several months, and I must say it's spectacular. All the speakers have their own links, and you just click on their picture and you'll see their name, their biography, the class they'll be teaching, and then the schedules. The schedule's almost finished. Just about all the speakers have gotten back to us, and they're still writing up their talks, and it's very exciting. 6 months in advance, and we're all squared away. So can't wait to see everybody. Thank you.
Great. So do you know when the website will be available for others?
Yeah, hopefully by the end of this week. I wanted my committee to take a look at it. And that was when I sent them an email last couple weeks ago, I said, please look at the website, see what you have to think about, see what you think about it. And others have gotten back to me with some things I've already been correcting. So
It's beautifully done. Thank you so much. A lot of excellent pictures, and it's a great layout.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, any comments from anybody else? I guess if not, we're going to see you on the third Monday of May, and I'm looking that up right now.
It's the 17th of May.
17th of May. Thank you.
Speaker.
Okay, here we go, son. She'll show our cameras. Okay, here we go.
Do you have the speaker that you can announce?
No, she doesn't.
I don't have one right now. No.
You have
Oh.
something else you want to do, Roxanne, for us?
I'm happy to, really.
Okay.
But you can, I can be called on.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Well, you have to let me know if it's a definite, but I think somebody else wants a turn.
I'm off dowsing wells tomorrow up in Vermont, so.
You know, Susan, you really amaze me. You're so organized and professional in everything you do. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Hard work.
It's all for the love of dowsing.
Anyway, be
And
good to see you live.
we'll be having a youth program for our conference in Flagstaff, which is very exciting. My cousin, I trained my cousin's son to douse when he was 6. That was 2 years ago, and I have a video of him that's on the new website that's going to be presented shortly. And so that makes him a 5th generation dowser.
Wow, good. Yeah.
So he's actually very, very good finding water veins and finding wellheads and map dowsing and all that great stuff at 6 years old.
Wow, fantastic. Okay.
Yep, they are, but they just copy what we do. So
Yeah.
best time to get them is when they're young.
Yeah, and my cousin and the family's all very supportive of this activity, so that's a good thing too.
Good. Well, I guess I'll sign off then.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming.
Okay,
Thanks, Roxanne.
Thanks again, Roxanne. This is great.
good to see you. Bye, thank you.
Thank you. We love you, everyone. If everyone wants to show their camera just to say hi to Roxanne so she can see your lovely selves.
Oh, Sharon, there's hello. Annette, of course, always.
There we go. We can talk too.
Is anyone else there? Okay. There, I'm on.
Scott, is that Scott Pearson?
Yes,
Roxanne.
Scott, where's your face?
Ah. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sherry. Jeanette.
Good to see you. Look great.
Sharon.
Good to see you guys.
What do you want to search for?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
triggered my phone.
Sharon, when's the next digest coming out?
Oh my gosh. Well, the winter one just came out about a week and a half ago, and it is posted on the ASD members only site. So that one's up there. And I actually am getting in a lot of content for the next one. So it will be out in probably late May, but before the conference or convention.
Ooh, can we buy ads in the yeah?
Yeah, look at it. There's clickable ads. So in the digest, you can click on it and it'll take you to your website. There's website sponsors. So you can go to the tabs for sponsors and it'll take you again to your website. So there's all these links to everything. It's very cool.
Yes.
But there's some fascinating articles, and next, I guess next month, when the next one comes out, there's again some very interesting articles. I'm very impressed with Mary Hardy's, but I haven't.
She's still alive?
Yeah, she's doing a presentation
Backwards.
for, is it ASD, I think? Incredible.
Did that get
All
mailed
I'm
to
gonna
you,
say.
Sharon? Did that get mailed to you?
Yep.
How
I
lovely.
haven't seen one mailed yet. Okay, so it's full size.
ORI said they got one last week.
Huh.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
how
I
come-
think
how-
she
how come you
mailed
got
it
one?
out before she posted it on the website.
Okay.
Did everybody get one?
No, you have to
No,
request it.
you have to ask.
Ugh.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
perspective of my high self, process all my irritation with blank about.
Yes.
Don't
Thank
care
you.
enough. I don't care enough to.
Yeah, at the last minute I moved some stuff and yeah, so thank you people for who helped me edit. Some of that is moved to the next month.
Yeah,
That's
I hope
wonderful.
that stuff too.
Yeah, lots of
So-
good colors in it online.
Oh, good, good.